Okay, so you guys are probably wondering where the heck I am right now. So I'm out in Gold Bar, Washington, and this is the first site that I'm actually sold on where I think I'm gonna build my container home property.
Don't overthink what's happening. We're jumping in like the sleigh. We fall in love with everything. We never sleep, no. We're never gonna sleep, no.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, my name is Devin Lorup. I'm a filmmaker and photographer out here in Seattle, Washington. So over the past year, I've been looking at different ways to diversify my wealth, whether it's in a stock portfolio or however else I'm investing it. And one way that I've always wanted to get involved with is investing in property, but I never quite had the capital. But after this last year, I have a decent chunk in my savings, and I think I can finally get involved in the property aspect of it. So what I'm looking to do is, because I don't have a ton of capital, I'm looking to build a container home here on this property. Like, when I say container home, I mean like luxury container home. I'm looking to use 5 40-foot storage units, or 5 40-foot containers. It'll be 3 on the bottom, 2 on the top. I'll give you a walkthrough in a second. But that's the gist of what I'm looking to do. Wait, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I want it to be an Airbnb investment property. So I wouldn't live here full time. This would be strictly a vacation rental for people that want to get outside of Seattle, get into the mountains. So one of the most important things to me was finding the right property. Property is so key. Location, location, location. So I wanted to find something that was roughly an hour from Seattle, in the mountains, and on water. That's a lot to ask for, but that was what I was going for. So over the last month, I've been looking at properties, and this property out here in Gold Bar stood out to me as, I mean, it has everything. It's so sweet. So essentially what this property is it's a ½ acre just east of Gold Bar in the mountains on a river. So here, check this out. So there's a view of the river. This is the front of the property. I actually ended up just talking to one of the other the homeowners next door, and they said that there was a tiny little shack right here, and that there was one year the flooding got really bad, and it actually washed the house out into the river. So but I was talking to her, and she said that's the worst they've ever had it, and that was a long time ago. So hopefully that doesn't happen. And talking to the city, they said that there's a 150-foot setback rule. So I'd have to build the home 150 feet back off the high point of the, I can't talk, off the high point of where the river gets. So that shouldn't be a problem with flooding or anything. And worst case, the home will be built up about a foot or 2 up on the pony walls of the concrete, so we wouldn't have to worry about flooding anyways. Also, for those of you guys that noticed, I filmed this whole thing in 4K, so flip that thing into 4K. It looks really crispy. And please like and subscribe. I'm gonna try and be documenting every step of it, the way from finding the land to purchasing the property, breaking down the financials, how I'm gonna financially do this. My goal is to pay this thing off as quick as possible and as little interest as possible. So I'm gonna be walking you guys through that whole realm, as well as the build process. That's gonna be the fun part. But yeah, please like and subscribe. Thanks guys. But yeah, it's a long, skinny ½ acre lot. It looks like the homes, or the containers would have to be right about here. And you can see you walk out back there to go check out the river. I'll overlay some drone shots here to give you guys an idea of what the property looks like. But here, this next step, I'm gonna sort of walk you through the floor plan of the home. I really hope I'm in frame with this, or I'm not crouching down unnecessarily. But I got my first set of architectural plans. I'll overlay a whole bunch of drone stuff here. So the main floor is gonna consist of 3 40-foot shipping containers, and these are the 40-foot by 8-foot by 9.5 feet tall shipping containers. So this will be your front door right here. You'll walk in, you'll have the kitchen off here to the left, so that'll be right around here. You can turn right and there will be a little powder room with your utilities closet right in front. And then you'll have a nice little island right there, a dining room, and then a living room, and it'll be all glass looking off towards this stunning mountain view that you can't see right now because the clouds are over it. Right on the flip side of the island, you will have the spiral staircase which takes you up to the 2nd story. So second story consists of two 40-foot containers, and they'll be stacked going long ways this way over the top. The upstairs consists of a laundry room, a master bedroom, and two other smaller bedrooms. Going this way towards the front of the property, you'll have your two smaller bedrooms, which will have like picture frame windows, so as you pull up, it'll be like an architectural element. You'll see two main windows. It'll look like two little picture frames looking at you when you pull onto the property. On the flip side of it, you have the master bedroom, which looks out over the river, which looks out over the mountains. It's going to be a stunning view. And that's going to consist of a double wide container area, and then you have the like large bathroom sandwiched in between. The bathroom design, my mom and I went through, my mom's a designer. We went through the bathroom design a couple weeks ago. So the bathroom design was kind of tricky because we wanted to be able to service as many people as possible, but I couldn't go adding like 3 or 4 bathrooms in there just because, I mean, that costs more and more money to add more bathrooms. So the bathroom design we landed on is a dual sink, and then a pocket door divides between the toilet and shower area. So you could theoretically have people getting ready in the bathroom while someone's going to the bathroom or taking a shower or whatever. And that'll be just on the flip side of the spiral staircase. So one of the cool parts of the second story is that it would be this side of the second story, there's going to be a sliding door. And the sliding door will open up to a patio that you'll also be able to see that same view as the master bedroom. That's the plan. These are really rough architecturals. I got to get these over to a structural engineer, and we're going to be figuring out all of the I-beams that are required to hold this up, because we're obviously going to be cutting all the walls in between, so it seems like a large open space in there. Okay, so for this whole build process, this is all super new to me too, so I'm just researching and digging into this as much as possible. If you guys have any tips, please drop them down in the comments, or if you know someone that's done this, please shoot me a contact or something. I'm just trying to absorb as much information as possible from everyone so I don't make these mistakes that I have to do over and cost me big bucks. Earlier this week, I sort of broke down a list of the next steps / the steps I've already been going through to get this property moving and yeah, getting on with the build process. So the first step I had was find the most current survey. I need to find the most current survey to see what's actually on this land. I noticed there's a water stub over here, and also there's an electric pole, which is good. I messaged the city earlier this week. They mentioned that I will need a septic system, so which I did budget for, which is good, but that will be about $15,000 to install a septic system. Step number 2 was to find out if I can build on the property, which, talking to the city, it sounds like I am able to build on the property, just I have to abide by that 150-foot setback, and there's a couple other reports that I have to put together, like water mitigation reports and it's like critical land mitigation reports. It's pretty much saying that because I'm close to a waterfront, I have to, like, here's my drainage plan, and here's how I'm not going to affect any sort of floodplain or something. Step number 3 is to buy the property then, which I'm still digging through how all the finances are going to work out, but yeah, I'll probably have like multiple episodes on that, or multiple episodes, that works. So after that, I'll get the soil samples to sort of give myself a feel for what I'm going to have to do with pouring the concrete footings for the containers. So that's how deep I have to go, how wide the footings have to be, and that will also determine how tall my pony walls will have to be. The pony walls are what the containers actually sit on. So step number 5 is getting a topo survey. A topo survey is pretty much a topographical map. Oh, I can't say that word. It's pretty much getting a bird's eye view of the property, and this will be a part of that mitigation report to show how water is going to drain, and they'll also locate where the corners of the house is going to be. Once I get the excavator out here, then I'll know where I have to dig and everything from that topo survey. Number 6 is the critical area reports, which I talked to a couple engineers earlier this week, and they said it's around $3,000 to $4,000 for these surveys. It's pretty much what these surveys and reports consist of, is having someone out here, making sure there's no wetlands, because if there are wetlands, there's all sorts of restrictions, and that might be a deal breaker, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. It doesn't look like there are any. and they would just put that report together to submit to the city to say, hey, he's all good to build here. Step number 7, so step number 7 can sort of go on in conjunction with everything else, and that's getting the architectural drawings set and finalized, so that, I mean, that's working with structural engineers and figuring out the final design for what this home is going to look like. Step number 8 is waiting 12 weeks for a construction permit, and this isn't just gonna be me sitting on my butt, this is gonna be me coordinating all of my subcontractors, getting all the footwork in place to start pouring the concrete footings, and I mean, that's like getting the containers here, that's just all of that stuff. These last couple steps all sort of merge together. Step number 9 through 11 is construction concrete and getting a secondary survey once the concrete is poured. It's pretty much confirming that where I said I was going to put the home is where the concrete walls are. And I guess you have to submit those back to the city so that they know that you actually did what you said you would do. And then after that, it's on to the races. It's getting the containers here stacked and starting to actually build out. I mean, it's windows, doors, all that. So guys, I'm really excited. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun journey. I'm excited to bring you guys along. Like I said, please like and subscribe. Every like, subscriber helps a ton. It helps not only blast my journey out to anyone else that's potentially looking at doing this, but yeah, and I'd love to, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. We'll see you in the next episode of the Container Home Build.